In this video, we're going to revisit our plans for success in 2019. Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. You may remember that at the beginning of 2019, we did a Watch Me Work live stream where I talked about some of my plans to be more successful in 2019 in my Joomla business and also in life. So I thought now that it's middle of February, it might be a good time to check in and look back on those plans, and for you to look back on any plans that you made for success as well. And remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Ring the bell to get notifications of all the things that are happening on the channel. And why not give this video a like so it will help others to find it. So let's head over to that encore performance of Watch Me Work live stream number 25, brought to you by... All right, head on over to basicjoomla.com/giveaways, and you can enter for some cool Joomla stuff. What I was focusing on yesterday, or actually in the first start of this video, a free 3-month basic membership in joomdev.com's template club. So go ahead and enter, and good luck. Some of the plans for success that I brought up my notes for that video, left as they were after that stream, everything that we had. And one of the first things that I set some goals for, I don't even say that they're goals, I guess goals, better than resolutions, because I actually probably did not make any resolutions, and I tried very hard on the first day not to keep them. So I don't have that over my head that I've got to do something, because I think that's one of the things that defeats us, was to diminish the distractions in my business. And that, a lot of this stuff goes for life as well. Remember, we watched that video with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates being interviewed by Charlie Rose. And Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, although he did give away a lot of his money, most of his money, he held on to a couple of billion. But he said that he could basically buy anything that he wanted, but he couldn't buy more time. And so that really struck a chord in me towards the end of the year. And I realized that on this, in this 2019, I wanted to cut down on distractions, because not only do distractions use time, but they also use concentration and the effort in our brains. When there's just so many decisions that we can make. So one of the things that I did was I decided I would do another run through my Facebook and unfollow friends. There's someone trying to sell me healthcare from the States on my phone, making that ring. Apparently they don't know how to only call American exchanges. Anyway, so unfollowing face friends. So I would have to give myself probably an A on this. The other day I found some posts pop up, and I thought, why? Who is this? I don't know who this is. And they had followed me, and I had followed, or they had friended me, and I friended them, because I actually used Facebook a lot trying to monetize things as well. But I unfollow. The great thing about unfollowing is that you're not unfriending, so no one goes someday and notices, so-and-so has unfriended me. Oh, my feelings are so hurt. I'm going to go burn their house down. You don't end up with anything like that. You're just there. And then when people say, oh, did you see my post on Facebook? You just say, no, I didn't see it. Tell me about it. If those are local people. And so I think the big advantage there is, and this is one of the rules that I use on whether I'm going to follow people on social media or not. And that is, if their posts pop up, and if I see, when I see their posts, if I start to go, oh, that's so dumb, or oh, they're always sharing stuff like that. If it invokes repeatedly a reaction in me that's just like exhaustion, then just unfollow them, because that's a lot of energy that you don't need to expel. And social media should be, at least Facebook, should be something that you're doing that is a benefit in your life. It shouldn't constantly be a drag. So that's one thing that I've done very well on. Dealing with email bacon. All right, BACN. So bacon is the term for all those emails that you get that you that you ask for, but you don't need to read right away. So maybe it is an update from a site that you have a membership on, and you like to have it there in case you want to refer to it, but you don't read it right away, or maybe sometimes ever, but still you want to keep getting those updates just on the list in case they send out something super important. Or another example would be notifications. So for instance, every time I log into my server, I get a notification that someone has logged in from such and such an IP, and that's my IP. So I don't need that email coming every time. So what I do is set up a filter in Gmail, and then just say anything that's coming from this address with this in the subject and this IP number, just delete it. And then that cuts down on the distraction. So I would give myself a B, maybe a B, maybe a B plus, maybe a B on that. Although I might not be noticing the full benefits of this that I'm getting, because it's kind of hard to notice what you're not getting anymore. I do notice that there are times when I'll go to my computer and check to see if there's any mail, and I have no new mail. And I think, oh, what is this? Is something not working? Is there something wrong in the email program? And then I realize, oh no, it's just because I was getting so much bacon that I didn't want to get. So maybe I give myself a B plus on that. My setup in Gmail, and I mentioned this before in the other stream, my setup in Gmail, I talked to Peter Van Westen and asked how he manages all of his emails with one address, and he said in Gmail using tags, or using filters, and you can assign tags to them. So I've actually done that. I have on my Gmail about 7 or 8 emails that are getting checked, and that get checked, and then when they come in from a certain email box or forwarded from a certain email address, they get tagged for that. And then when I want to see mail from one particular email address, I can just click on that filter for it, click on that tag, and it's all there. So that is really, really nice. Instead of having 7 or 8 email accounts set up in one in my email program, say if you're using Outlook, or you have 7 set up on your phone, and send and receive and all that, just Gmail sets up so well. The other thing, and this, so I think, using that, probably about B plus. But the other thing too is I asked the same thing of Phil Taylor, how he manages everything, and he said he has a one-touch policy for his emails. So basically, when he I take that, and you could comment here, Phil, if I'm wrong, but he opens up an email and he deals with it right away. And I know now that's something that I probably have slipped on in recent weeks. So I would have to maybe give myself a C minus on that, maybe a D plus. Excuse me, because sometimes I'll open up an email and go, oh yeah, I need to deal with that, and then I'll get to it later, and that's how I end up falling behind on my emails. So that's something that I could revisit and continue to strive for in order to get rid of clutter in my life. Just when I open up an email, just deal with it, and then it's done and move on. Although that is a lot better this year as well. Now, let me just check the chat here because I don't have that up here. Hey, Chayton. Yes, for those of you that are struggling through the first part, the sound was not working, and I will fix that setting afterwards. Chayton, I'm working on an email for you for a project, so hopefully I will get that to you very soon. All right, so are you still there, Vinny? You just listening, which is fine. I just want to make sure that you're not talking.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening.
Okay, that's good. All right, another thing. Get my notes back up on the screen here. So dealing with bacon. All right, so another thing that I have here that was one of my plans for success this year was asking myself, will this lead to my target hourly rate when I'm doing work? This one I would give myself, I guess if this is a midterm average, I would have to give myself maybe a C plus. As far as just actually asking this of myself. because I sometimes get a little bit distracted still by and working on things when I have other paying work that could be done. And I'm not always thinking like, where is this going to lead to? And maybe I'm a little too speculative about some of the things that I do on spec still. So the whole point of that is there's a certain amount that we have to make and for our goal hourly rate. And there's the work that we do that we can be paid for. And then there's also the work that we do that could turn into something that we're working that will bring success later on. It's not going to bring money in right now, but it could later. And sometimes there's things that we do that just don't fall into that. One thing that I did mention is that project that I was working feverishly on last February that flopped. I did let the domain expire, and I have deleted the hosting account. You maybe saw that in the Joomla site in the hosting account. You maybe saw that in the tutorial that I did on the channel, and that's great. Another thing that I mentioned was Amazon. So the Amazon referral program, where you can send a link to a product with your code in it, a unique code, and you get credit for the sale. And I have tried to get confirmed in that. You need 3 sales in 6 months, which isn't a lot, but you don't make a lot of money from 3 sales either. Anyways, so one thing that I said was I was just going to stop wasting my time on that because I just didn't have the traffic to make the money on that. As it happened, one of my clients needed to buy a webcam and ship some products to the States, to someone that we're working with. And so I recommended things. I gave him the links, and I got up to the 3 sales. And that was like, oh, great. All right. Well, at least that's established. Now I can just use it every now and then. Maybe it will grow. And then about 4 weeks ago, I got an email from Amazon saying, oh, you don't update your site enough. And so we've canceled your application, which is pretty maddening because they'd already accepted my application. And the form email they sent me had a field that was supposed to say when's the last time that I updated it. I think what happened there was that because I do update the site that I registered with in the cybersalt.org site, I haven't updated basicjoomla.com in a while, but I was using Sitemap Pro, and I have it cache the sitemap because it's so large, and I just think that perhaps they just kept seeing the old sitemap. Anyways, I lost a bunch of time trying to get that resolved, and then just the other day I realized, you know what, that was one of my goals, to just not waste time on stuff that's not going to make me a lot of money right now. I can always reapply if something takes off, but anyway, so yeah, so at least I did do that, but I'd probably give myself a C+ on that. I do need to concentrate better on I guess being smarter about the projects that I'm taking on. I did post the link if anyone else wants to come on Zoom. It is there in chat. All right, so I should just go full screen because what we got happening there is not really anything super exciting to watch. All right, so next, and there you go. I had given the example of Amazon because I was basically only making cents based on an hourly rate for the amount of time. All right, so the next area, and hey, if any of you want to chime in or chat in with how you're doing on your goals, or any of this resonates or any ideas, go ahead. So the next thing that I had down was increased lead generation. So I had some ideas that how to increase leads for new clients or new projects. And one of the things that I had focused on was creating and improving videos, my video pages for local SEO. Basically, I had looked at who's doing computer repair, virus cleaning, and other things locally, and realized that that was kind of wide open, and I could actually probably post some ads in the local Kijiji type things. We have a usevictoria.com here in Victoria, BC. And just put that out there, see if I could drum up a little bit of extra business. I don't expect a lot of remote access or remote support from that, or virus cleaning. And I really don't want to do that all day, because it wouldn't be the most efficient use of my time to just only do that, because I have other things to do. But it is nice to have the odd client every now and then who, and I do have some that are regulars, who just need some help, need me to log in. It makes a nice break in the day from big projects, and I enjoy that. And it's also encouraging if you put away, a half-hour charge just for helping someone and getting things sorted out. They're happy, they pay, and it's just sort of like coffee money. Although I don't drink coffee, and that would be a lot of coffee. Anyway, so how did I do on lead generation locally? I have done terribly. I basically haven't even set up any of those ads. I did look once I was looking to see who does Joomla locally, and there's actually someone in my city. I don't even know who it is, but I have not set up any of those ads, so I would have to give myself an F on that, as in failed to try. The other thing too is create and improve pages for narration and tutorial clients, because I'd like to. I would like to have something that I can refer people to for who are looking for narration services or looking for tutorials for their sites. And I haven't really improved that either. Now, I have been doing that. I've fallen behind on I haven't fallen behind, but I haven't done what I was going to do. The last thing that I have from Peter Van Westen to narrate, I'm about a week off. I don't know if you were watching the live stream last week, this live stream. Towards the end, I was having a real shortness of breath, and I've been having some funny feeling in my throat for a while. Anyway, so the next day I went to the walk-in clinic, and it gave me these really great pills for acid reflux, apparently. So they checked me all over. It was just that. So I've not been narrating as much as on extra things. But anyway, so that's another thing. I have really not done anything to my webpage, so I'd have to give myself an F minus. What's the A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Maybe a G plus, because I just, you know what I have found since I retired and am doing this full time now, is I'm an idea guy, not a doer in the details guy. And so I have great ideas, but the actual details of pulling it off on my own site just falls to the wayside. Although it may be that way for many people. Although I know some of you from seeing your sites, it's not that way. So that would be a G plus, which is worse than an F minus. Increased block scheduling was another thing that a goal that I set myself for success in 2019. And I would have to say I give myself probably a B on this. Maintenance Monday and then Watch Me Work Wednesday. Those are going really well as far as fitting in my schedule. This week I was a little bit late getting my thumbnails ready. I was up island and stuck in a snowstorm for a while on Sunday. So I could have done the Monday's thumbnail on Saturday. And this thumbnail I did last night. So I was a little bit off on that. But I have been trying to, when it's time to work on these things and get them all set up, deal with it so that it's not spilling over into other time. Or it's not weighing down on my mind saying, oh, I still need to do this and upload that. So for instance, for some reason, my phone did not wake me up this morning at 10 o'clock. And I start this at 11 o'clock. I was up at 3:30. And so, last night before I went to bed, I had everything set up, my notes, and to just go on and start up the computer and log on. So blocking my time for Maintenance Monday and Watch Me Work Wednesday has been good. Another note that I have here is about scheduling Tuesday meetings. I did buy a session scheduling extension, OS Services, and I have it on my site, and I just got it. I've been fiddling around with it. I sort of have it working so that people could book a time, but I've not really made it a feature on my site, and I've not fully set it up to the point where I think, yeah, now this is something I can point people to. So on that, I'll give myself a C. I need to schedule that a little bit more, and the whole idea there about scheduling Tuesday scheduling meetings was so that people can, so that I can know that I'll be here working and I can meet with them online virtually, or else plan time to go out and just have that point, knowing that that's a day that I do meetings. Because that way when people say they want to meet, I can either direct them to the schedule and they can pick a time, or else I can just say, yeah, Tuesdays are a big meeting day for me. How does next Tuesday work for you? Instead of me constantly juggling in my head, what am I doing Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, so that I'll give myself a C on that. Another thing that I had was a flight manual. So basically putting things down in a list so that I can check to make sure that I'm following all the same steps. So for instance, I have one made for going live with the Maintenance Monday live streams. Check the thumbnail, change this in the thumbnail. Make sure that you've got the right live stream key set up in here for going on YouTube and changing the one from Twitch. Blah, 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 blah. And I do have that set up. I haven't used it the last couple weeks because I'm actually getting into the rhythm of doing things that I don't forget the things that I have to do regularly. Although today, a perfect example would be I didn't have the Zoom call set up just to share the link right away. So on having a flight manual and using it, I would say I'll give myself a B plus. I mean, a lot of these marks are a lot higher than I got in high school anyways, or Bible college. One of my notes here was that to edit the video right away for YouTube uploading, I'm going to give myself a B plus for that. Maybe even an A minus. So when I'm done the Twitch stream here, I download it, and then I get it. It needs to be edited a little bit so I can put it up on the YouTube. Especially today, editing the stuff where there's no volume, and then if I don't do that right away this afternoon, it'll spill over into Thursday or Friday, and I'll think, oh, maybe I end up doing it Saturday and uploading it at a weird time, and I don't get notification out of it. In fact, that happened this past week, but for the most part, it's been going pretty well. Just dealing with it on Wednesday afternoon and knowing that that's just a thing that I do, and getting it done, getting it uploaded, and then it's another check of something done in my mind, and that's encouraging, because the stuff that you're not getting done can be discouraging, but when you do get stuff done, that can be really encouraging. It can give you a lift and propel you forward into something else, or at least say, yeah, you've done a lot of work, now let's watch some YouTube videos. So editing that right away. So this last one is probably the most personal and not really related to business practices, but just to who I am. And that is, and man, I have had a ton of work to do in this one. And the goal has been to get over myself. To get over myself. Now, that was a goal of a lot of girls in high school, to get over me. And actually, they reached that goal very quickly, even without having it. But no, to get over myself. And what the note that I have here, and this I've really been working on. I would give myself an A++ for how I'm doing on this. Sure, I'm not being perfect at it, but man, I've dialed in on this one. Getting over myself, and the note that I have here is to stop giving so much energy away to every little idea. And that has sort of expanded to not giving so much energy away to every little thing that bugs me or happens that shouldn't have happened or could have gone better. And so I'll explain. As far as not giving too much energy to every little idea, I think that we probably all very much have in common this personality, or this, especially when we're doing this, for those of us who are doing Joomla full time or as a business, oops, sorry, kick that board. There's always some opportunity or something that we see that we think, oh, maybe that could be something, or that would be good. And we can get so fixated and overwhelmed on all the little things that maybe we lose perspective on the big things. And I know this probably sounds similar to picking things that are going to choosing work that will lead to our target hourly income. But this is so much more than that, because I think what happens is we can get derailed from the positive things that we want to do by these little ideas that come along. And so as far as projects go, as far as something that can be done, one of the things that I notice is that I probably overestimate the impact that some little thing had. And I know that I have this desire in me to do something that just takes off, like that is that runaway thing like the internet can provide. And then it sort of spins without work, and that's like catching lightning in a bottle, I think, in many ways. And so constantly looking, oh, will this be the thing? Will this be the thing? Becomes a distraction of energy and focus in all of life, because you're just constantly thinking of it, looking at it, and obsessed with it. And so I need to get over myself in that, and I've been doing pretty good on that. Because I'm just trying to not take on new things, and I'm actually doing less of some other things. Another example I'll give you too about getting over myself, and this sort of, if you remember, at the end of the year, I did a tour of the studio here, walking through, and then I edited that, put it up on YouTube. And I thought, I'm going to share this on YouTube and on like New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. So I did share that, and I had it set to go on a Monday, but I have a large newsletter that goes out on Sundays. So I thought those people would probably like to see the studio too. So that video was unpublished. Anybody could watch it who had the link, but and then it would be published, and notification would go out of it. So on the Sunday, I thought, okay, I'm going to give them the unpublished link. And because this is going out to my newsletter, it has 14,000 subscribers on it. That's going to be a huge boost in people watching. And that's going to be a really big increase in watch time for my channel, because I'm trying to get up to a goal up to the 4,000 hours in the last 365 days, which would allow me to monetize the site. I would just like to reach that as sort of as a mental victory. I don't even know if I'd start ads on it again. Anyways, so I send out the list Saturday night, go to church Sunday morning, we come home. I'm all excited to see how many people have watched. I looked, there's been like 180, not 180. There's maybe been 120 or 30 people who have watched it, or at that point maybe 80. And I thought, this is going to be great. I look and check the watch time on the video, and it's not counting. And I found out that watch time does not count on unpublished videos. It's not until you publish them that YouTube starts to count that towards the title. And so then I was like, oh, I was so excited that this was going to be just a fun thing to do. And then it wasn't working. It didn't work out the way that I thought it was. And I was really bummed out. And then I noticed myself start to go down the rabbit hole, which was, I thought, oh, I should have known that. Oh, what can I do now? What can I do to promote this? Oh, and I realized I was going to be bugged that I missed that opportunity. And then I realized, oh yeah, Tim, get over yourself. Don't let this rob you of energy or focus. How much is it actually going to happen? How much, if you were to monetize the site, are you going to make anyways? Because it's not, not in the traffic's in the millions. And so it happened. Just let it go and move on to the next thing. So I did, and let me tell you, there's been a ton of things since where I've had opportunity to practice just getting over myself. Little things that bug me, oh, that happened, whatever, we'll just move on and keep moving forward. And instead of pausing and letting that negative energy or that negative stuff pull me down, just pressing forward. Sometimes it's very easy, sometimes it's a little tricky and I miss it, but I think overall this is one of the things that I am doing really, really well at. And And I have to believe that all these positive steps, even if I can't identify the changes in all of them because it happens subtly, I I do notice a change in myself and my business and in life since the beginning of the year, as more and more I just get over myself. Now, what I talked about something that was a big thing that I was that I've added since then, and that is I need to write, and this relates to getting over myself. I need to write shorter emails, and let me explain. I'm a relational type person. I like connecting with people. I can talk. I don't mind talking to people. Live streaming is very odd because I end up talking by myself a lot, but that's okay. But I'm also from a generation where when someone sent to you a message, a letter, or a communication, you responded with a certain decorum or certain I don't know, norm to replying. And so all my life, when I get an email, I reply and I say, so if I get an email from someone named Bob, I'll say, reply, Dear Bob, hey, it was great to hear from you. I have the exact thing that you're looking for. What I need to do is research a little bit more, and then I will get back to you, and a whole bunch of stuff. And then I'll say, there's Phil just tweeting me about some issues I had with the latest update. But anyway, so then I will get my train of thought back here. Then I will get and then I'll say, hey, I hope everything is well with you. Look forward to next time. Sincerely, Tim. And I'll send that off. You know, that takes about 5 minutes to work out between typos and getting everything working properly. And with the amount of communication and email that I get, and that we all get, it's just not possible to do that. But it's contrary to me to just reply and say, and not even to say, Dear Bob, even though it's clear that Bob has emailed, to just reply and say, yes, I've got that. I will give it to you on Tuesday. And then Tim, and send it off. And I've noticed that a lot of people are better at that than me, because I will send them an email and they reply and say, oh yeah, I'll take care of that. Or thanks for pointing that out. Not, Dear Tim, hey, I really appreciate that you pointed it out. Thanks for pointing it out. And here's the thing, da 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 da. I hope da 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 da. They're just sending quick emails. And that is contrary to my nature and to my generation. Now there's people from my generation that have no problems with that, so it's not contrary to their nature. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there is something inside of me that just cringes at the thought of just replying and sending out something quickly. But it's occurred to me that this is another area where I need to not get over myself, but or maybe just reinvent myself. But yes, get over myself and reserve that level of communication I'm used to family and friends when we're talking about things. But when it comes down to dealing with tech issues or support issues or people communicating, I cannot be fully relational with everyone and get through all of the work that I have to do. Now, there are people out there that need to be more relational. It's going to be a benefit to their business and their communications if they relate to people a little bit more and don't just reply with, yes, got it. But I suppose in some cases the relationship is... in some cases, the relationship is there that you can just say, yes, got it, because both people understand, yeah, that's okay, because we're communicating. And when we want to talk, we will talk. So that's something that is really in me that I am working on. So it's not one of the original things, but what mark am I getting on it right now? I would probably give myself just a C, because it feels so awkward still to do it. But I think, and I will probably do another check-in at some point during the year. I don't know if I'm going to do them every month or whatnot. But this is something that I think is going to help free up a lot of time and concentration for me to be able to just be a little bit more concise and short, and to deal to deal with issues and subjects and things by email, to just not spend so much time typing email. Because what happens is you end up falling behind, or I end up falling behind on really important communication, things I need to get doing. Then someone else emails, and that's important. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm not even getting to this other stuff, and I'm just overwhelmed. And I wish I could hire someone just to answer emails for me, and da 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 da. And things start to, forget about time wise. It's the inside life that we have that really begins to be uncomfortable, because as much as we like Joomla and as much as we like what we're doing, Joomla is not life. We have to live in this world. There's relating to people. There is having a life, and if the thing that we're spending so much time on that we really enjoy, but also is our business or source of income, is creating anxiety for us and is frustrating us, that's really not a fun way to exist. So I would have to say, of all my goals for 2019, this getting over myself is producing my favorite results inside of me, because it's just letting me be more restful and less feeling overwhelmed all the time. I have in no ways or means perfected that, because I still do feel overwhelmed at times with how much stuff there is for me to do. But that's the blessings of opportunity. There are people in the world who are struggling, looking for some kind of opportunity. And we often, especially in the West, we are blessed with too much opportunity, especially because we're involved in something that's creative. When you're doing something that's creative, whether it's programming or designing or putting things together for people or helping them find solutions, you're taking from all around you and you're making a solution. And maybe it's just finding the solution and reconfiguring it, which is a lot of what I do, because I'm not a programmer. Or maybe it's taking the ideas and putting them all together into programming so it works. Or whether it's anything that's creative, like, oh, I'm going to cut this tree down, and I'm going to make this. Or I'm going to take these colored paints and I'm going to make this picture. That's a great way to be able to live, because you are interacting with your environment, and you are, I just believe, being the way that God made us to be. I mean, I believe we're made in God's image, and He is so super creative. And there's an element of that inside of us that when we create, when we make, we just enjoy being. And that's the goal that I think that we all have in life, just to enjoy being and being who we're made to be. And so when being creators, we have lots of opportunity all around us. And especially, like I said, living in the West, we have lots of resources and things available to us to try to create. And so, but in that process, we need to interact in a way with it, and we need to be in ourselves in a way that lets us enjoy it, and that it's a positive thing. So I suppose, like Bob Marley's song goes, "Don't worry, be happy." Sure, there's things to worry about, but is that really what we want to be about? Just constantly worrying, trying, and struggling, and partly sometimes we just have to be happy with who we are and where we're at, and know that we're just going to keep trying to move forward. So, anyways, I think that covers my list. Now, one of the things that, and I don't know if this was an official plan for the new year, although it did happen at the beginning of the new year. Vinny won't be surprised that I'm mentioning this, but Vinny set up his stand-up desk. Right, Vinny? Are you standing or sitting right now?
I am sitting.
He is sitting. Have you done much standing since you set it up a couple days ago?
No.
Oh, you haven't? All right, but it's there.
It's there. It's set up. I haven't stand up because I've twisted my knee several times, so I can't
Oh,
really stand for long lengths of time.
but you didn't twist your knee several times trying to make it stand.
No, just walking.
Oh, just walking. Okay. If you're watching, if you have Netflix, Ray Romano does a stand-up comedy routine. He goes back to stand-up club. It's just being launched, and one of the things he says that he's reached the age where he woke up with a sprained ankle.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, he said he didn't do it. It wasn't sprained when he went to bed, but somehow during the night he sprained his ankle. So, but you do like the setup of the way your monitors are now a bit higher.
I do because the bottom two monitors are more eye level, and so that I'm not looking down all the time. But the only problem is the top monitor is pretty high.
Pretty high.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's where you are right now.
yeah, up on the top monitor.
You are on the top.
One of the other things since we're talking about your desk, I'm loving my stand-up desk. Boy, it still works. My hips are a little bit sore from standing at it sometimes, but I talked to my chiropractor, and he gave me some tips, and I just have to make sure that I'm not always slumped when I'm leaning too. But my clean desk policy, what's that?
Do you have a pad to stand on?
No, I actually have really nice running shoes that are they're sport shoes, but when I had some problems with one of my feet a couple of years ago, my doctor said, get these running, and he's a runner, so get these running shoes. They're great. So it's basically like walking on one of those mats everywhere I go in these shoes.
Oh, good.
So they're called, they're from Hoka One One. So it's HOKAONEONE, and it's three words. So anyways, yeah, if I'm going to be here for any length of time, I put these shoes on. Actually, the story behind them is I bought them. They're like $200. I never spend that kind of money on running shoes. And after and I just basically walk in them. I doing things. The treads started to delaminate off of them. So I contacted them. I said, look, I've only had these like 8 months, and so there's a big rigmarole there, but they sent me out a replacement pair, and I figured, they're going to just tell me to send back this other pair, so that's fine. But then I realized, they don't want the old pair back. So they're fine for in the house. So I actually have this super nice pair that I wear in the house, and then the replacement pair they sent me, which is holding together much better, I wear out and about, out in the world. But it's just like having one of those mats under me the whole time.
So you have an advantage with yours. Is you have a button that you can press, and it makes it go up and down.
Yes,
Mine
it does.
Struggle. I basically lifting weights.
Yeah. Well, that's good too, though. Let's see. We'll make the desk go up a little bit here. And, yeah. Also, I'm just checking out my hair there. I got a bit of I literally was... There we go. I literally woke up at like 10:20 this morning. This gave me 40 minutes to do everything, including fix my hair. So, speaking of desks, I have been trying to keep an open desk policy. Not open desk, a clear desk policy. So that at night, when I go to bed, everything is clear. And basically, if I change this angle down here a little bit, I need to... it's not quite happening. This is not as bad as it used to be. But, here's the remote for my lights and USB and some food that my wife brought me here because I didn't have time for breakfast. But I've been talking so much I don't have time to eat it. So it's a little bit messy here. But otherwise, but I did tidy this up quite a bit. And I am still trying to do that tidy up and clean thing. Anybody watching the Tidying with Marie Kondo on Netflix?
No.
That's very interesting. She has some books on tidying, and she has a really neat system and perspective. I'm just resetting this camera here on tidying, and so we were already trying to tidy some things up, anyways. But Yeah, I think clutter is a big distraction and big robber of energy for us. So, anyways, I'm working at it. The box that I have underneath the desk from when I switched desks is getting down. So, I'm working on that. The largest room in the world is the room for improvement.
I developed a girlfriend cleaning my room policy. She has been around for a couple days, and she has taken upon herself to help me tidy up my space.
Oh,
And
that's
because
good.
I'm not good at that, she's much better at it than I am.
Yeah.
Um, and and it is definitely a lot uh, easier to work in now. Um, so I'm rather excited about that.
I can see how I can see how things should be organized, and so it's not a mystery to me. But actually doing it, it's just discipline, and it's just man, I'll tell you, it's just this new life that I'm living, and lifelong things that I'm trying to overcome. So I'm not surprised by them,
Well,
but
at least now I have a better background to look at when my camera is on.
yeah. The other thing, like for instance, one of the things that's cluttered on here, I'll just show you this here, is I have a stack of business cards. And I will actually add to this stack when I go with the Chamber of Commerce mixer tonight. But I have put them on my desk because these are different people that I've connected with. Whoops. These are different people that I've connected with. And so I really want to just drop them a quick note and say, hey, it was great to meet you. And just wanted to touch base with you. And I'm just making sure I have your contact information. And again, so it speaks to emailing. And so I need to just sit down and type some very quick emails to people. So I probably have not done that because not only I've been busy with stuff, but it's like, oh, that's going to be like homework getting over myself. So,
Well, I know you use ACY mailing, and I don't know if you could do it with this, but I know with I use Mailchimp. I would just put all that stuff in my Mailchimp, and then I have all the contact information. And if I just want to say, hey, so and so, I just want to make sure I have all this correct. Is this correct? And just have it displayed. And then you can, every time you get a new stack, you can send out a new bunch of emails. And it's coming from you,
yeah.
and they don't have to know that it's. I mean, well, it'll say on the bottom that it's a mailing on Mailchimp, but I mean, it's a way
Yeah,
for
that's
you,
a good suggestion.
and that way you're not typing them out all a ton of them. So
Yeah.
ACY mailing might have something in there like that. I'm
I
sure you
could-
can use ACY mailing.
Yeah, you can add fields to ACY mailing, and you can also set up a site that where you've got your membership stuff on there. Like use Community Builder is the one that I use. Jom Social is another one, but that's a good point. Yeah, I had just when you said that, nobody knows that you're sending them the same one.
No, it's personalized to them.
Yeah,
It's using their first name. It's using their contact information. It's using all that, but at least it helps speed up time for you, so you're not. And then if they write back, you can engage in them in a more personal level.
yeah. Cool. Yeah, and that's actually on LinkedIn, when they say, oh, someone congratulates you on your work anniversary, or so-and-so has a work anniversary, I'll send a note, hey, congratulations on your anniversary. It's one of the canned things. If the person replies and says thanks, then I'll reply with something personal. So it's kind of expected on LinkedIn that you're going to get all those congratulations on your work anniversary. Oh yeah, they just clicked and sent. But if someone is saying thank you, or goes that extra effort, or is doing that, that's a connection. And then I'll reply and say, yeah, what do you could ask, what's going on this anniversary? What's one of the things that's going the best it ever has in your business? Or you can, if you know them really better, you could just say something personal, and then that establishes that connection. But then everybody else has just gotten I mean, I think a lot of the reason that people do that on LinkedIn is so that it's like, oh, there's that person. What does he do? Oh, and you're just trying to hit it just at the right time. That maybe there's some work that you want to do. They want you to do.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, one of the things that since I've been joined the Chamber of Commerce that I had to get better at was pitching myself. I mean, people are talking about themselves and what they can do. I saw there's a video I want to watch. It's on selling and how it's awkward for some people to sell. And certainly, I'm not used to going into a room with the idea that I'm going to talk about myself and get money from these people. That's a new existence for me. In fact, that's the kind of existence that I've avoided for a very long time. I did not want to try to get people's money, and I did not want to just talk about me. I don't mind sharing myself with people, but I just don't want to be all about me. But now, when I meet with at the Chamber of Commerce, the whole purpose is networking. So there's got to be a point where you can say, you know what? If you're looking for someone to handle that for you, I'm your guy. I would love to work on that for you. And that's touch base later on, and we can talk about time, budget, or whatever, or really just exactly what it is that you need. That's just another shelf on the get over myself bookshelf.
Yeah, that's an area I struggle with quite a bit, is selling myself, and at least you're taking a step further than I have. I have a hard time with that, going out to like a public mixer and mixing it up and talking about myself and trying to sell myself. I'm doing better at that.
Yeah, you went to that wedding show.
Well, yeah, I'm doing it better with my DJing, but my web stuff, I'm not doing it very well. It's like my girlfriend actually went out and found a place for us to possibly do trivia, and then I got dressed up and went with her to kind of make that more personal connection, and hopefully we'll be a place, and because people buy people, and sometimes I don't know about everybody else, but I sometimes lack a little self-esteem, and so if people buy people, why are they buying me? And that's something I have to work towards, is realizing my merit and my worth, and being able to be confident. I mean, it may be a little arrogant, but if you're good at what you do, sometimes I guess you can be a little arrogant.
Yeah, and arrogant. I mean, arrogant has that edge where you're kind of taking away from other people. Confident. And that's, someone comes along and says, oh yeah, I can do that. Everyone else are idiots. Don't trust anyone else. That's arrogant. But confident is, yeah, I could do that. I have some experience, and I think I bring a perspective from my experience that would really add to what you're doing. That's confidence.
But some people might portray it as arrogance. But you have a really good way of talking. See, you and me are very different people, and you definitely have a more humble approach than I do.
Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say that.
That's your only compliment of the year.
I thought you were going to tell me I sounded Canadian again.
Well, if you don't take it as an offense, it's not worth saying.
I tell you, one of the things that goes on a lot inside my mind when I'm talking with people is when I think, I could do something better, or they're doing it wrong, is getting frustrated that they're not asking me to do it, or that or thinking, how could I do this? So it's not always calm waters, but I don't find you an overly aggressive or arrogant kind of guy.
I'm not trying to sell you on anything.
No, I know. Okay, I see. Yeah, selling is not does not necessarily, it doesn't come naturally to me.
It's like I could benefit from someone, a salesperson, someone whose whole job,
Oh,
because
totally, totally.
have a hard time with the rejection when someone's telling me no. That's 9 times out of 10 why I don't go out and do stuff. It's because I'm worried about that no. I, and I don't think about that yes.
See, I have a slow burn approach I guess with people. An example would be there's a business group that meets at the church that my wife and I are attending. It's on the second Monday night of every month. So back in probably November, I went to the one in November, and there's a personal coach that they brought in to speak, and she was talking about her business, and there's some kind of profile thing. You answer questions, and you get put on this blob, and there's different colors. Um, they call it a spark. I forget what the name of the process is. Anyways, so I checked out her website when we were there, and she has a Wix website, and it wasn't mobile friendly. And anyway, so I thought, oh, okay. So I about a week later, I did a video review. I recorded it on the screen. I went and I just said, hey, thanks very much for speaking, for your time that past week ago. I noticed a few things about your website. I thought I'd just share them with you. And point out a few things. Wasn't tearing it apart or anything like that, but I just thought that I'd share, that, and talk to your web person. And of course, if you want to talk more, then I'd be happy to talk. So we kind of went back and forth, and then eventually we just ended up having a phone conversation. And I was really interested in getting to know this person more because they had an interesting story that they had alluded to. And so we talked. I think she had scheduled for like half an hour for us to talk, which was great, and that's where I got the idea of scheduling software and that. But we talked and talked and talked, and just kind of let things go. And after about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, there seemed to be a shift in things, and I think maybe I don't know if it was that she noticed that I wasn't just trying to hard sell her on something, and but we interacted on some stuff just based on life, and she basically said, well, I don't really have it. This is what I can do with my budget right now. Wix, working on this myself. I said, oh yeah, and that's serving you fine. And if when you run into things down the road, whatever. So we're talking. Last week I got an email just out of the blue from her saying, hey, I'm having problems with this. And she listed 3 things. She says, are these things you could help me with, and how much would you charge me? And they actually turned out to be just little things that she just needed a little direction on. And so now that was a time I took about 40 minutes to write an email, and I researched things and sent her some links. But the reason I did that was, and I did give her a quote saying, I can look into these things for you. It'd probably take, I forget what the time was. But I gave her some things she could try herself, because my goal there, I was thinking like, well, instead of just hard selling or trying to get an hour's work out of her, she as a personal coach is in touch with a lot of people are at that stage in their business. So I thought this would be a really good contact, and this is a good contact that I have, because we had that nice meeting on the phone, not only talking about website stuff but other things. And now she's reached back out. This is a connection I'd like to have there, so that there's someone out there who's with entrepreneurs and helping people with at growing points in their lives. And if they get stuck, I want her to think, oh, that was a pleasant experience, and Tim is the guy. Why don't you call this guy? And then who knows what that will turn into. So there is that that soft sell, or that wooing of clients too. Because had I just hammered away on that call, it would have been over like in 25 minutes, and I would have made my point, and she would know why, what I thought she should do. But it wasn't helpful to where she was at, and so there, of course, things like that take a lot of time, and that, I guess that speaks more to the balance too of what is leading towards the average hourly income that I would like to be making. But anyway, so I think that's a good connection out there. She's a very nice lady, and I enjoyed getting to know her a little bit, and who knows what will come from that.
I think one of my other problems is that can't focus on one thing. I have so many hours in the week, and I have my entertainment company, I have my web company, and I have I Love Old Time Radio.
Yeah.
Now I've streamlined I Love Old Time Radio a lot better. Um, One of the things I'm practicing doing is trying to listen to my shows. Oh, look at that! There's me.
I didn't realize that you were actually on camera. You're usually just talking. So when I saw your face there, I thought, oh, I better put you on.
Oh, well, thank you for warning me. Now you can see I have a nice background now.
No, it is a great background. I like it.
And it's
Anyway,
not
so
very
you were
deep.
mentioning you've got those three things.
Yeah, so one of the things I've done is I've streamlined I Love Old Time Radio a lot better. For example, is while you mentioned this last week that you listen to while you're working. Well, I'm listening to the next week's episodes while I'm working. They're about a half hour a piece. So if I'm listening to all of them in one day, that's 2.5 hours or so, plus the Saturday show. So we're talking about like 3.5 hours of listening that I can do throughout the week. I'm also writing my scripts right afterwards, which is always the longest part of it. But I'm taking some time to write the scripts on the day. So I have my show written for next week already. And it doesn't take me long to record. That's the easiest part. The recording and the editing are much easier for me. So it's just a way for me to speed up that. I'm also trying to speed up some of my stuff with my entertainment company. Yeah, my head was so big.
It's not too. I thought I'd just try to make my picture a little bit bigger, but I don't think I can now that I'm actually.
Just make my picture smaller so it's more match. It looks like I'm a giant and you're like this little Lilliputian.
There we go. Lilliputian. I like that.
Yeah. So
Good reference.
I'm trying to do some techniques to help streamline some stuff. But it's again, it's like I'm not focusing on one job. I'm focusing on multiple, and sometimes I get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah,
So I
and
pick one.
and again, that goes back to what I was talking about, having a life. Because sometimes we can just constantly rushing through everything that we're doing because we want to get to something else. And I know, so for instance, this morning, yesterday I woke up, I could feel my brain. I mean, it was just like, oh my goodness, mornings are so bad for me. And I'm talking like 10 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I've been up late the night before. Oh, no, I hadn't. I got a good night's sleep. Anyways, I just lost my train of thought there. Oh, so instead of thinking like, oh, I've got to do this, I have to do this. Oh, there's so many things. Oh. It's like, oh, this is what I do. This is my day. So I thought, well, this is pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to get up. I'm going to live stream. I'm going to hang out. That's great. I really enjoy it. Instead of being like, oh, I've got to do this now. It's like, no, just enjoy it. Just be in the moment. And turn on the computer, go live. And, of course, then their sound is not working. Like, oh, darn. But it's like, okay, that's just what I do. So, I think that we can be a lot more in the moment in everything that we're doing, and then we're living, because I guess life is what happens while we're trying to have a life. So,
Well, it definitely makes, because I schedule my Saturday. That's my record day. That's when I typically work on I Love Old Time Radio and get that done for the week. Because that's the other thing is I try to do it for the week instead of doing it like I started to. I was doing it daily, and that gets overwhelming if you're doing it daily. So I pick a day, so Saturday or Sunday, depending on what I have, and that way I have a whole day where I'm not doing something, and I can take time to spend time with family or do whatever, which is something that I hadn't always been doing.
Yeah. And when you have that feeling that you've accomplished something, instead of taking time for yourself and feeling bad about it, like, oh, I should be doing other things, it can be like, hey, I'm going to take some time for myself now. So, like, for instance, I just, on the other side of the camera is my television and my couch. And it's like, oh, I just need a break. Oh, I'll go watch a gold panning video. There's a couple of people here on the island that have some YouTube channels that I found. So it's like, oh, I'll watch. But, it's watching and enjoying is different than watching anything like, oh, I so much work I should be doing and I haven't done much today. Just giving ourselves permission to enjoy that. And that's going to allow us to be feeling better about when we are working, instead of like, oh, I'm so far behind. Just get over myself.
I'm liking the background now. It's
No, yeah, it's you. You've got that whole Rush Limbaugh look.
yeah. Well, I don't mind that.
The whole like in the studio and that, yeah.
I mean, you're comparing me to Rush Limbaugh, but I mean that part I don't like. But
No, I mean the studio look.
I just
If they're
that's the
what?
American that has a studio.
Well, no, when you see that they cut the clips or that are in the news about so and so saying whatever, and that radio shows that are televised or that are streaming as well, they basically have a camera farther off, and it's like the sports shows where they're sitting around sports radio and they're sitting around talking. So you're just jammed up close on it.
Yeah, it almost looks like I am broadcasting, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that was my comment. Not about I'm not attributing anything about Rush Limbaugh to you.
Yeah, I'm not conservative. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
Then again, I'm not liberal either. So
if I'm conservative, I'm not that conservative.
yeah, but I think that means differently over in the UK than not UK, but in Canada than it does here.
Yeah, there's some overlap, and actually in Canada, right? So we have a Conservative Party, a Liberal Party. We have a Green Party. We have a New Democratic, which is, I guess some people I was going to say it's more of a socialist party, but that means totally something different up here than it does down in the States. So, I mean, Canada, every party in Canada has a level of socialism, and it's not like communism. So it's like
that's the thing. People don't get that socialism doesn't equal communism.
Yeah.
But people hear socialism and they think communism. But yeah, we have two parties here: the bad party and the worst party.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you which one is which.
No, well, I think everybody knows what parties you guys have. Yeah,
we kind of jam it in people's faces, don't we?
What's that?
We kind of jam it in people's faces.
Oh well, yeah. Oh no, it's you guys are the couple next door that like to fight loudly.
Yeah,
and are probably would be mortified to know what the neighborhood thinks.
No, I think we pretty much know what the neighborhood thinks.
Up here, there is a conservativeness to part of our Conservative Party, and conservativeness in the sense that I would just say are probably. I mean, there's all around the world. There's a move to the right in a lot of respects, and that's there are people in Canada that would like to do the same thing. They're using the same methods. They use social media to put out stuff that just inflames people, and people are lazy and don't think through it always, and so they just share it and pass it along. So there is that kind of element to conservative in Canada, but that would be small c. We have capital C Conservative, which is an actual party. I think they're just the Progressive Conservative Party now. I forget, because they split and then they reunited under a different name years ago and whatever. But anyways, yeah, that's yeah. So conservative, applies more to sort of like a political, where you are on a spectrum up here, as opposed to where you are as in a movement. Although there's some people that want to change it to that. So because they look around and see how other people have won elections, and if your goal is to win an election, and other people are winning election by doing certain things, then it's like, well, let's try it that way so that we can win, and that's crazy.
I'm
So
curious to see what other people have been doing, if they've been taking, because I've taken some of your ideas from your first video about this, and I'm one of the ones I'm trying to do is I schedule my meetings on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's
okay,
it.
cool.
So, but not at 2 o'clock. I avoid scheduling things on Mondays at 2.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You have that schedule. Yeah, one of the things about this scheduling software, I thought that when someone bought a time, it would show up in Google Calendar, which it does. They schedule an appointment, but I thought what I put in Google Calendar would show up in the extension, and it doesn't.
It's
So
not 2 week thing.
no, it's not. So what I've done is I have to go in and the next step now is to figure out how to be more fiddly about blocking, and so I can set it so that my Monday morning from 11 to 1 is not available because I live stream. And the same thing on Wednesday. So I can block out time, and then I just have to make times available on those days that people can book, or I can send them to. So, well, that's good that you're doing that. It sounds like you're doing better than I am, but I don't have a lot of people trying to book appointments with me right now either. So, although recently there was someone that wanted to book some remote assistance problems they're having with Skype, and probably could have just referred them to that had I had it set up. So
Yeah, I use a subscription based booking software right now, for my DJing entertainment, and they have a 2-way sync
okay,
uh, between Google Calendar and the software. But it's
well,
not really integrated into my website like I'd like it to be. But
I'll see how this works for me, and if it's working well, then great. If not, then I'll
well, the other
try
thing
some.
is, I'm sure you can, if you really want it to work that way, you could probably hire someone to write a plugin.
Yes, that's true.
So
Yeah. Hey, so you met your suggestion. Oh, I forgot to give you credit for the Maintenance Monday topic on Monday.
don't worry about it.
Because you suggest about. So when you suggested that, do you use a CDN?
I used Cloud.
Cloudflare?
Yeah, the opposite one that you do. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's tons.
Well, there's CloudFront and Cloudflare, and
Oh, I see. Yeah.
and I think CloudFront is the one that's is which one is the one that
Amazon Web Services. Yeah.
is that CloudFront?
Yes.
Okay, so I've used Flare, and their free version is pretty much a CDN, but if you pay for it, it's also kind of like a security as well. You can get more security features.
Yeah.
help.
DDoS protection.
Yeah, stuff like that. But I mean, until the point where I really require DDoS protection, I'm not that concerned about it.
The DDoS protection. I actually have that with OVH where my server is hosted, so that's automatic for all IPs that I'm running. If they sense an attack, they move me over to, and it's happened a couple times. I get an email saying, "Oh, there's an attack on this IP. We've moved you over onto our infrastructure, and until it's mitigated, so everything's being served, no problem." Blah 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 blah. And then half an hour, they'll say, "Yeah, it's over. We've switched you back. Everything's back to good." So that's a nice thing. My experience with yeah, I think it's Flare, is because you changed the name servers on your domain to go through them.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and which obviously is working because they're still doing it. But for me, it was and this was years ago. Maybe partly not fully understanding that, but also I forget why I just didn't go with it. So, and I actually I did go to I did want to try to have it to something that's offered to my clients on my server, and I contacted them, but I don't. I don't. Nothing really came of that, so I'll have to.
Well, I switched. I used that one because it was part of a web hosting package uh, on a previous host that I had. So that's why I used them. And I was trying to walk through CloudFront, and they don't make things really easy to get to sometimes.
Yeah, let's check this out. How can I get started with Cloudflare's cPanel plugin? Because I think when I went to do this, I needed to be somebody with them. How can I get started? Full instructions can be found here. cPanel plugin for hosting providers. Let's see here. Step 1, access cPanel. You have to download, install, and then there's a your host API key. Right, so I went looking in that. All right, so that's Cloudflare host API key. Get Cloudflare host API key. How do I get a where do I find it? How do I retrieve? How do I change? Why am I getting invalid? When do I use using Cloudflare partners getting started? Okay. Thanks for your email. Want to become a partner? Let's see. Getting excuse me. As a Cloudflare self-serve partner, you can generate additional revenue. If you're looking to offer your customers Cloudflare's enterprise plan, please visit becoming an enterprise reseller. So I have to look into this again. Oh, bulk reseller. They require a purchase of $2,000 a month of discounted self-serve plans. Please allow to do business if your application to be reviewed. And once the decision has been made, you'll excuse me, you'll receive a response from Cloudflare partner. So it looked. I think when I looked at this, it was something that something I was going to have to pay for. Maybe I'll just contact them quickly and say, here's the deal. I would like to make this an offer. Is there a way I can do that as a small host that's free? I would like to give people the option, especially if people like it. I just added to my.
Or you can make a package where you can set people up for it.
No, exactly. And I did just. Let's get back to something here. I did just add another thing from SSL Store that includes a CDN and the DDoS protection and a bunch of other things. So there. Oh, and also for me to sell SSL certificates, because I have the free Let's Encrypt certificates that are on there for people to use. There we go. You're back. But if they want something that's a little bit higher security, or makes their bar green, or has the name of their company up next to the lock, the padlock, there are other products they can buy. So I can actually sell that through my company as well now. So I'll check with that, because Cloudflare is as far as being a CDN and being something that you can speed your site up with, it has a name recognition, sort of like WordPress, right? Someone says, oh yeah, I use Cloudflare. You should use Cloudflare. Even people who don't understand, it's like, oh, I'm using something like it's called Cloudflare. So
I think people confuse Cloudflare and CloudFront. I think they're pretty much interchangeable in people's heads.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't even think people really, most people, I don't even think know what a CDN is or
Yeah.
why you should have one.
Yesterday in the Joomla forum, there's someone asking about Cloudflare, and then Allison Meeks said, "Tim Davis, didn't you just do something about this?" And I said, "Well, I did a tutorial, a live stream on CDNs, and but Cloudflare is a bit different." But then, anyways, I told the guy I'd help him out if he wanted to, and I looked, and he and I had a common friend on Facebook who's a local artist. So I looked the guy up. The guy's actually here in Victoria. So I don't know how much of a Joomla he is. I think he's using Joomla for his sound recording studio. But anyway, so I thought, well, there's another local guy. Maybe I'll get a Joomla user group going.
The only thing with a CDN, for me, is because most of my services are a very local service.
Yeah.
So I don't know if having a cloud a CDN would be as beneficial. I know they help speed up certain things, but
Yeah.
at the same time, is I don't see that they would necessarily need a CDN or require one.
Yeah.
Now, I Love Old Time Radio, I would definitely say that website should be on a CDN. So that's one of the things I am working on, is getting that set up on a CDN, because I do have worldwide people who access the site, and it would help speed things up. And especially as the site gets bigger, I'm going to want it to be as fast as possible in as many ways as possible.
Yeah. Well, if I just put this to full screen for a second, which I think I have done, if I go to AWS and go to that CloudFront thing here, just get logged in. And put in my password. All right. Okay, so this is where we were on Monday, and I set up that CloudFront for basicjoomla.com. So if I go into there, and let's go cache statistics, basic Joomla, update. So here I've had 700 requests. Okay, the first day when I set it up, I had 203 requests, 700 requests, and so far today, 653 requests. So hardly anything. And when you look at bytes transferred, like 10. The first day was 1.8 megabytes. The next day, 12 megabytes. So even though, so it's not getting a lot of traffic, and so that's gonna cost me a couple of cents. It is obviously serving things up a little bit faster. I guess the point that I was going to make about things being local, if you do it for a local site, is that if it's local, it's hardly going to be used at all.
Yeah.
And it's not going to cost you anything anyways. It's going to cost you a few cents. So yeah, I do like that about Amazon Web Services. Everything is, you only pay for what you use. Now, I've heard some people describe them as expensive, and when I did have hosting set up on it as part of that project I was working on last year, and depending on the different levels and speeds, it was more than me just paying on this one server to have a server instance with OVH in Montreal. But as far as the CDN goes, instead of me paying $10 a month for the CDN and not using everything, it's only cost me a couple bucks a month for even for my busiest site. Now you did see on
Cloudflare is for what I was using it for, the CDN didn't cost me anything.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah. Now, using Cloudflare? Are you using it now?
I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not
Okay.
currently using it right now. I was using it not too long ago with a site, but no longer am now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't notice a whole lot of difference, but I didn't. I'll have to admit I did not like having to go through another um, DNS server
Yeah.
to use it. So
Yeah. That wasn't a thrill for me either. But I did notice sometimes there was issues with on the free version. They only look for new pages every so often as well, or changed pages. I think now, and I'm just remembering from a couple of years ago, but I just remember sometimes I would change an article and the change would not go out right away, or I would want it to be respidered again, and or whatever they do. But yeah, I kind of like. I mean, I am liking the AWS solution here, CloudFront, because I can navigate it. I see what it's doing. I see where the traffic's coming from. It's just there. It's not a bucket because AWS does have buckets where you can store things, but boy, they've got so much stuff there. It would be there's so much more. One of the things that I really, and the reason that I started playing around with AWS last year was because you can have an instance of hosting or have something going, and if you need more space, you can just automatically. There's some way you can do it. It's elastic, they call it, that will expand to that space. And then so you throw more resources at things, and then if it goes really quiet, then you use less and it will contract. And so you're not paying for you're only paying for what you're using. And my big dream for that project was that it would take off and go so huge that I was going to need to move it to a new server. And I thought, oh, that's great. Then I could just automatically expand it on this. I never did really come to full understanding how to do that, and because the project never took off anyway, so I never had to figure out how to do it. And running things as a separate hosting thing on there was more, tip the balance for how much money I would had to put in to try it. So, anyways. Yeah, I would love to try some other CDNs. There's Max CDN. There's, I forget which one Peter
isn't that the one
recommends.
I think that's the one that Regular Labs had
Okay.
coupon with at one point.
Okay.
Will do.
Yeah, there's tons, and it's neat too that that you could use more than one CDN with the Pro version of Peter's extension. So you could balance things around, or you could, I suppose, if you had one CDN you were using and were close to maxing the amount, and you didn't want to jump up to their next level, you could then go with another CDN and balance between the two. Who knows?
But at that point, you really have to consider is this beneficial for my website?
Yeah.
I mean, do you need to have something like this set up?
Yeah. Yeah, the basic Joomla one, probably not. Although, who knows? We'll see if it's serving up just a bit faster. I mean, more important would be for me to add new content to it than to have it running on a CDN. I do know for my cybersalt.org site that is nice to have it there because it's doing a lot, and it is getting a lot of traffic, and it is international, and it takes a load off my server that I have that on, so that's good. If we go back to this screen here and look, if I look at all web distributions, we'll see that there is a big jump here. That February 6th, I still was not able to figure out what that huge jump was on my site, but these jumps here are from adding Smart Drive Test and creating a CDN for him. So I've actually gone from averaging, say, 25,000, 36,000 to now up to 70,000. It's actually doubled. And so that's great advantage for him because he has people from all over, from all over the world going to his site. So I think that that has probably really helped his performance. He's on my faster server, so but still, it's just the distance and them being closer. And so that's worked really well for him. Plus, it helped his speed score, and he's really trying to improve his speed score to do better in the search results of things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I understand that. I mean, I completely understand why CDN is beneficial for that kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of little things that don't ever get done, and especially if your client has control over their website. Like, do you optimize all your JPEGs before you upload them?
no, I'm waiting for the extension that will do that. I think a lot of when I resize them, I do watch to see what size they are. I don't just upload the big ones. But no, as far as, WordPress had, there's that service, Smush, SMUSH. Have you heard of it?
No,
And it'll basically look at all of the images on your server or in a folder on your hosting, and it will change them so that they have the optimum compression.
And that's the thing what WordPress does. I mean, it's the WordPress makes it very easy for people, just regular people, to manage their sites. And I hate saying that. I hate saying that, but they have made, especially with their interface and their WYSIWYG editor. Their editor is much better than Joomla's TinyMC. It's beyond. It's so much easier to do stuff for the average person. And I hate saying that, but it's one thing that Joomla has been lacking, and I'm hoping 4 will be a huge change. It will be definitely a huge step forward for them. But is this the program you're?
No. I'm just going to. Yeah, no. You keep going on that. I think one of the things too, though, that happens is that companies decide to develop something that works with WordPress. So it's not even that WordPress said, "Oh, let's do this," but that company said, "Oh, there's so many people using WordPress. Let's make that available."
But the problem is that a lot of people are still using Joomla, and people don't realize that. Millions of people use Joomla websites, and I don't think people know that.
Yeah.
In fact, when I tell people I develop in Joomla, they look at me like crazy. And if I say, well, it's a program kind of like WordPress. Oh, they've heard of WordPress.
Yeah. So this is called Image Recycle. I searched for Joomla and Shmush. Basic says, and it looks like it's Joomla image optimization. Says we detect compressed media and return original files. Compress automatically new images in PDF. Compress automatically existing images in PDF. Run a background optimization of all your images and get notified when it's done. Generate PDF report of your website's optimization. Connect image recycle account and sub account from component admin. So image recycle might be a service. Define an optimization quality images per media type. Define a minimum maximum size to optimize. So here's something. I'll have to check that out.
I'm on their website right now.
No, I guess I did not go to their website. I clicked on developer.
Well, I'm on Image Recycle, their website, which is
.com, yeah.
.com. Yeah.
Okay. Don't have an account yet. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Image Recycle CMS Joomla. See what their prices are. 10,000 images for $10.
Yeah, I know. That's not bad. And they even on their homepage they have a get a free analyze and report of your website.
Nice. I think they would like to do a Watchmen Work live stream someday.
I think they would.
All right. So, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to check that out.
Well, I actually have a desktop program that I actually do the same thing that before I upload images, I run them through this program. So
Yeah. Now, when I resize an image and export it, there's a compression that's put in it, but I don't know if it actually does that. They have a commission.
yeah, but you can optimize it even more than just
Yeah.
what your graphics program does.
Type your website URL here. Let's go. And get the free report.
Yeah, they're gonna send it to you via email.
Yeah, that's good for them.
That's how they get your email.
Yeah. And they have examples. Well, again, this is a thing that we can offer our clients too. If we have an account, we can set up their site so that things are automatically optimized and it's just value added. All right. In the queue, it will be sent to me. All right. Yeah, I think that's a great background there for you.
Thank you.
I think that really works well.
I enjoy it.
Oh, hey, John Mulholt. Oh, hey, John. He also just extensions to the photos, images, pixel compressor. I did not know, John. I knew someone was lurking there from the numbers. Let's check that out as well. Pixel compressor. Resize images on the fly when uploading them. Create thumbnails automatically. Compress them for free using Resmushit or Tiny PNG. Okay. Pixel compressor's free Joomla plugin allows you to compress and resize every image uploaded with the Media Manager automatically. Okay, so that's with the Media Manager. I wonder if it works with JCE. Currently, the following image compression services are supported. John, do you know if this does existing? If this does existing images. Free plan enables you to compress 500 images per month. Let's see. Loved it. Very easy. So that's another one. No, I've. How do I get back to their go to? Oh, you haven't tried it yet. Yeah. It looks like it's for something that works with the Media Manager. Full description. This especially uses uploaded images not pre-processed and allows you to speed up your website drastically. Auto-magically resize every image uploaded with the Media Manager component on the fly. Improve page speed, choose a scale method, set compression levels, supported file formats, create thumbnails. Victor Vogel, how do I know his name? Oh, which for creating the plugin EIR. Victor Vogel. There's a note from my friend Rick. All right, something to check into. All right. Well, cool. A new lead.
But I'm assuming that once you've compressed them, you don't need to keep compressing them. They're done, right?
No, yeah. Once they've been processed, they would look at them and see.
So if you have that free one for 500, you know, your client probably wouldn't need much more than that.
No, exactly.
They're uploading tons of pictures.
Yeah. But there again, you know, when you think about it, that's doing a lot of work to set them up for something that's free. Whereas if there's something better that you can set up and just use on yours and they pay a couple bucks a month for it, then that would be great.
Right. But like I do, I already compress the images I upload already. This would just allow them to anything they upload would be compressed.
Yeah. I have not gotten my report yet from them.
I don't think I've got mine. Well, that's a long 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, all right. Well, I think
I got mine.
Oh, did you?
Yep, I just got mine.
Oh, okay. Mine will come very soon too then.
I actually did it on a client's website because they have more images.
Yeah, we'll see when mine comes in. Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah, because that would be helpful too. The other, when you optimize your images and have them like that, that's less bandwidth and makes all this other stuff cheaper too if you're going to use it. It's just keep chipping away at the tree until it falls.
But the only problem with stuff like this is they only usually look at the first page, the home page. And maybe that's not the page that, maybe that's not the page you need to focus on. I mean, when I run speed tests, do I need to run it on every single page? Well, some pages might be slower than others, but they only do the home page.
Yeah. All right, I've gotten mine here, my report. So let's see what they say when this comes up. I'll move this over here and see what we've got happening here. Okay, Image Recycle has analyzed the page. 16 images have been found. 6 images can be optimized. Your images could be 31% smaller with Image Recycle. Original size 204K. 141K. Okay. 17% of the page weight. Okay. 16 images represent 17% of the page weight. And you can lower it down to 12%. People are impatient, and there's the pitch. Here's how much time you'll save with Image Recycle. They've got 4 gigs. Oh, on a 4G connection. Okay, so they're showing you would gain on a 3G 40.45 seconds. There's the images that could be resized. So this one is served up by Cloudflare. Sorry, CloudFront. This one is images.na. Amazon. Oh, that's something from Amazon on there. So here's a couple things. It's interesting. Amazon's not delivering it. Although this is just a sprite. That's not a very big page. 18 before, 3.9 after. I can take that Amazon stuff off there too, because that's falls back on what I was saying earlier. Here's Space Saver GIF. Let's see. It'll actually show that image. It's a 1x1 GIF. How can a 1x1 oh, 43 bytes. They can compress it to 37 bytes. That's nothing. This one here, who is that? Let's see. You can click these and open up. Oh, that's my little square image. Oh, and that's being served up, I believe, on YouTube. Again, that's a little tiny one. I could gain, though, this Tim Davis. He's a Joomla fan, too. And that's this picture here. They're saying I can shrink this from 57K down to 10K. And, of course, that's just on my basic Joomla site on the front page. So, basically, that's the only image they looked at, because that's the only image I have. Oh, and this little small one that YouTube serves up. It's very interesting that they're seeing something from Amazon on here, because I don't have anything from Amazon unless it's preloading something from the read mores here. Oh, there it is. It's that ad there for YubiKey. Okay, so I could actually put the read more here and speed up that page load anyways. Interesting. Well, I'm definitely going to check into that more. Alrighty, well, it looks like Vinny is on a phone call, which is cool.
I am.
So I'm going to sign off, so I'll say bye to you, Vinny.
Bye.
And to everybody else. Thanks for showing your face today, Vinny.
Well, I wanted to show my background.
No, it's great. No, and it worked great. And you're far enough back. It's not just your forehead now. It might be the whole change in the... in your
well, it's because I'm hiding behind the microphone.
In your desktop. Oh, okay. And let me get
that
back.
Might be it too. It's a little higher. And I was on a phone call. The lovely lady that lives with me and is my other half has brought me food. So.
Oh, nice. Well, I think it's just about lunchtime here. It's 12:57, so I will touch base with that and go and get some food and chug along on my day. So, hey everybody, thanks for watching today. I hope that I hope it was helpful. That some of your plans for success, you're on track or back on track, or it was a good refresher and cool. Some of these things we talked about and looked at as well. So, everybody, thanks for your support of this channel. If you've watched right to the very end and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Ring that bell, get notifications, new live streams. If you're watching this on Twitch, follow the channel. You get notifications when we go live. But anyways, thanks very much for just being a part of my day. Until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites and God bless.